All right, here we go. TK Kirkland, welcome back.
The great Vlad. It's always a pleasure, man.
The great TK, man. Always a pleasure.
Yes, it's a
Always
pleasure.
a pleasure.
First, let me say thank you for coming to my comedy show at Caroline's in New York City. It was an honor to see you there, for you to witness it for yourself.
Oh yeah, no, it was an honor to be invited.
Yes, sir. It was a packed house. It was off the chain. So I'm really glad that you saw the kind of love that you helped me get in the community over the years, because everything helps.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Every time you've come on, there's always been a big response, and it's created that whole TK Kirkland effect, is what I call it.
Yes.
Where to this day, if you go into the comments on YouTube for any VladTV videos, there are multiple TK Kirklands taking credit for whatever's happening in that particular video.
That's crazy. And I want to thank everybody for showing me the love. They have no idea. That's a beautiful thing.
Well, let's go ahead and get into it. It's been a few months since we spoke last time.
Yes.
And since that time, Tekashi has been released from prison.
Yes.
He dropped a new song that's now fighting for the #1 space.
Yes.
And we were all wondering, hey, look, can this guy come back? And are people going to accept him after all the snitching? I mean, the actual audio got released from the court. The paperwork is there. And lo and behold, he's on top of the charts.
Yes, he is. And what that tells you is that his fans are not street people. It's young kids and Latinos and beautiful women. They're not in the streets. They don't know, they don't care nothing about the code and all that type of stuff. People just living their life. And I started following him, right? Because believe it or not, I find the motherfucker entertaining. I ain't gonna lie. He is truly entertaining. Somebody gonna crack him over his damn head, but now you can't get to him because he got federal protection.
Right, because remember, I guess the little white girl living next door to him realized that it was him, and she went on Instagram Live, and next thing you know, police swooped in, and 7 police cars swooped in and got him relocated in like 30 minutes.
Wow, that is insane. And with the kind of money he has, he shouldn't be in the community anywhere with other people that can see you. That was dumb.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's supposed to be behind a gated fence.
Right, and I guess he moved to a different house, and they found out where that house was also. So.
Wow. But wasn't one of the rules that he's supposed to stay on social media?
I guess not.
Yeah, I guess not.
But all over social media right now.
All over social media. And let me ask you a question. Why is he picking with Snoop?
Well, I think Snoop started picking on him initially. Snoop started calling him a snitch, and saying don't support rats and everything else like that.
Right.
And Snoop, being the big figure that he is, apparently caught Tekashi's attention. So now Tekashi started firing back.
Okay, now it makes sense, because I thought it was the other way around.
No, I think Snoop was the one that originally started it. He was like in people's comments and just talking about don't support rats and don't support snitches and so forth.
Right. And it just goes to show you, from Donald Trump down to whoever, that there's no moral conduct like when we was growing up as children, when that really meant something, right? Those type of things meant something. This generation is the type of people that would take a picture with a murderer. You could be on TV and shot 9 people yesterday and walk down the street, and people will literally say, "Can I have a picture with you?" The moral conduct of a society is out the window. And I said this before.
Yeah. I mean, if Tekashi was walking down the street, 99.9% of people would want to take a selfie with him.
Damn sure will. And won't even bring up you a snitch.
Yeah. And I remember Godfrey, I was speaking to him while Tekashi was still locked up.
Mm-hmm.
And Godfrey's like, well, when he gets out, he's going to have to talk about being a snitch in his raps. And that's pretty much what he did. I mean, he can't do gangster lyrics anymore. That's a rap.
No, he has to do snitch shit, don't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm a snitch.
I'ma
a
tell
snitch.
on you.
But tell on your ass. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Yeah, take you to class because I'm a snitch. Snitch, tell me a secret. Ha, tell him. You shouldn't have told me. I'm going to tell everyone. Yeah, he's a snitch. He's a snitch.
That's what he did. I just think it's all clever. It goes to see, you've been through this from the Michael Jacksons to the Prince to Eminem to 50 Cent. Most people had a co-signer, right? The Jackson 5 had Diana Ross.
Initially.
Snoop Dogg had Dr. Dre. Eminem had Dr. Dre and Snoop. 50 Cent had Dr. Dre and Eminem, right? 6ix9ine ain't have nobody. He just blew up because of the publicity, the negative publicity has. But his music is pretty good. I can see if he was horrible, right? He's not horrible.
I'm not personally a fan of his music.
I'm not a
but then
fan,
again,
but listen to what I'm saying. It's not horrible. It's not the kind of stuff that we will listen to, like the Jay-Z's and all that kind of stuff. But I listened to one of the songs. I said, okay, all right. I think he got a little something. But he's a character, like how Snoop Dogg to me was a character growing up, and that helped him with record sales because he really looked like a Doberman Pinscher.
Doberman Pinscher.
Yeah, Doberman Pinscher. I would fucking say the word. But he looked like that. So I don't know who 6ix9ine looks like, but he's a character with the blonde hair, the colors, and all that. And he got a lot of kids following him. So,
Well, initially, he did get a cosign. There is this rapper named Trippie Redd.
okay.
Who was blowing up at the time. I mean, he's still a fairly hot rapper, but at the time he was blowing up. And
Okay.
he put Tekashi in one of his songs. They did a song together.
Okay.
And that song went big. And then Tekashi started beefing with him right afterwards. Something
Wow.
happened and so forth. But I think if it wasn't for Trippie Redd putting him on initially, we may not have, Tekashi may not have happened.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know I'm not into the rap like I used to be. So whoever that other person is, I don't know. But if that's what you're saying, so basically that was his co-signer.
Initially.
Now explain to me the streams, right? When you hear him say 8 million or 80 million views, does that translate to a lot of money?
Yeah. I mean, you get a different amount of money on Spotify than you do on YouTube, than you do on Tidal, but 1 million streams is usually thousands of dollars. Now,
Okay.
It's not hundreds of thousands or millions of
Okay,
dollars, but it's
all right.
thousands. So if
Yes.
you get 1 million streams on one of these platforms, let's say 2 million streams, you might be able to put, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 in your pocket.
Okay, now I'm understanding. Okay, so it's not a lot of money. It's just that when you hear that, so he could probably walk away, what, 500,000?
Well, allegedly, he came home to millions of dollars because of all the streams that were piling up while he was locked up.
Wow. So this is the way the new way artists makes their money.
Correct. Because the way it works is, well, people aren't buying music anymore. They're
Yeah.
not buying a CD for $10 or $15, how it was back
Right.
in the day. But there's more people who are consuming music.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Because there's more people who have Spotify or Apple Music accounts. And since it's unlimited, they're listening to more music, all different types of music. So you could make millions of dollars off of songs that you own that just keep getting played over and over and over again throughout time. So, like I said, it's less money, but it's a bigger audience.
Okay.
So it kind of evens out at the end.
Okay, wow, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
even though we have the pandemic, some rappers could just sit home, do what he's doing, and make a few dollars to pay their bills.
A lot of rappers are making good money from their streams because people are listening to music a little bit more because they're sitting at home with nothing to do. If you're releasing music during this time, now you can't go and do shows, which is the majority of the money
Right.
is that a lot of these artists make. I mean, because at the end of the day, to make $100,000 from some streams is a lot harder than doing a show for $100,000.
Right.
If you're a major artist. that
Okay.
is. But people are still making money. People, in the same way that VladTV is still making money, people are still watching videos. So,
Right. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
To be in that kind of world, to have that type of creativity on your side that you can sit home and not miss a beat, that's awesome.
Well, in the process of Tekashi beefing with Snoop, he brought up some paperwork that was kind of circulating around. And what's interesting is that the paperwork that he's bringing up allegedly is tied to a fight that Snoop had with some death row guys.
Right.
Back in the 90s. And we had an interview with Reggie Wright Jr.
Okay.
Who was head of death row security, who was kind of running death row at the time because Suge was locked up.
Right.
And he talked about a situation where him, a couple other death row guys, and Trayvon Lane, the one who was involved in the whole MGM fight, you know, that Tupac ended up getting killed from afterwards. Apparently, Trayvon hit Snoop, and then Daz was there, and then altercation happened. People ran off, and then Snoop ran into the police, and they got arrested. They had, I think, weed on them or something like that, and a police report was issued from that situation.
At the Universal Amp, this is when Snoop was assigned to, had been sold to Master P. We were there just to talk to Snoop because he was starting to diss Suge, and so I was just going to talk to Snoop to say, hey, why you dissing the home? You know, he's in jail. We let you go. We're making money off you still, but we sold you to them for $4.5 million, and we're letting you be with Master P and them. Why you throwing jabs at Suge? You know, you need to leave it alone. And he was kind of high and mouthing it and all that time. And then that's when Trayvon socked Snoop, and Snoop took off and ran.
Snoop was by himself?
No. Snoop had Daz with him. Daz ran too. Daz ran with Snoop. They both got arrested, ran straight to the police. That's when they both, and you can look that up, they both got arrested for marijuana possession in their pockets. They both had marijuana on them.
The paperwork said that Snoop was telling them that Suge was the one who killed Tupac or something weird like that, which doesn't make sense because everyone knows that Suge had nothing to do with Tupac's murder. But now this paperwork is now floating around.
Okay.
So Snoop is saying that it's fake. Tekashi saying it's real, and so forth. What are your thoughts about this type of thing?
I believe that as time goes on in life, you know, Snoop is one of my dearest friends. So I believe if it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not. And at this time of our lives, God dropped all the charges. Like, it comes a time in life that you just got to put some things and bury it and keep it moving, because we live in a world that the wrong thing said can cause someone their life, right? So to beef with this young kid is not worth it, because Snoop is really on a whole nother level. Mr. 6ix9ine is I wish him all the best, because I've been in this business a long time. I've seen when the deaths of Biggie and Tupac, you know, Nipsey and all that, and what we want to put out here in the universe, because what we say, Vlad, is so powerful that you could say something, I could say something, and it can make somebody want to go hurt somebody, right? So we have to, since we have this platform, me and you and other people who come on after us, we have to take the ability to understand, to teach the young kids about life, cherishing life, understanding how valuable people are, and just live your life and start throwing other people under the bus. Go get your money and teach them how to stop thinking backwards, because most of our rappers hustle backwards. And what I mean by that is they come from sometimes good families, good neighborhoods. They get a deal, then they get tattooed. They dye their hair. Then they want to become gang members. That's backwards, because most people tell you, any gang member will tell you, he want to leave that alone, take care of his family, and move to a whole nother area that he's not subject to gang violence or putting his family in trouble. And I remember when me and Dr. Dre used to hang out, he used to always tell me, they can't touch what they can't see. And I always believe that. And that's what we have to put out in the universe. And those are my thoughts to the universe and to the young men out here and women listening to us. You know, whatever Snoop did, Snoop did. Whatever 6ix9ine did with Snitch, and we know it, go make your money. You've done something phenomenal. I hope that you can live a long life, because I don't know what's going to happen, but I want to put out in the universe that he lives a long life, that he cherished, and hopefully you made a mistake, you're going to understand it, and you'll take time to teach other young men not to get caught up in the same mistakes that you have done.
Oh yeah, man. That whole you can't touch what you can't see is so important, because when have you ever heard of someone getting killed in a drive-by in Beverly Hills?
So true.
When have you heard of someone getting shot in Calabasas?
That's right. That's right. And it's just the mentality. When you get successful, you gotta leave. And then you can touch it from afar, but you can't be around the way, because it's just the mentality of the communities. If you're successful, basically put it like this: success has enemies. Got people who hate you, got people who hate me, got people who hate these cameramen because of what the people have in their mind of success. So if everybody's listening, remember one thing: if you on your way to be successful, you have enemies. Did you ever read the article about the young lady who got a promotion on her job and her best friend killed her?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Oh
one.
man, this is crazy. It happened like early latter part of last year. The young lady, it was her best friend. She got a promotion on the job, and her best friend killed her.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started doing VladTV, even before VladTV, when I was doing DVDs,
Yes.
my thing was like, all right, I'm going to go to these people's hoods with my camera, and I'm going to be in the studios, on their blocks, and so forth. I remember I interviewed Lil Easy,
Yes.
Eazy-E's son, on his block, and I remember right before the interview, his man gave him a pistol that he tucked in before the interview, and the whole interview he's looking over his back, because I guess this was a hot block that we were on.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And something could happen at any moment. I'm holding the camera. I'm nervous because I don't have a gun on me.
Right.
and I remember after that, I said, that's it. Moving forward, I'm going to have my own studios. People are going to come to me. They're going to come to
Smart.
my location.
That's right.
If I feel the person might be dangerous or might be hostile, I'll have my own security in the room with
Yes.
me. And I'm just going to be extra careful, and I'm going to spend extra money and spend extra time just for safety's sake.
Understand. And that's called common sense. Common sense and CYA. You know what CYA means, right?
What's that?
Cover your ass.
Cover your ass.
That's right.
Yeah. But Tekashi, based on his taking the stand and testifying in his statements, he gave his co-defendants, we added it up, over 70 years.
Wow.
That's not including two guys that are awaiting sentencing that are already found guilty, that are both facing life in
Right.
prison.
You couldn't make this up. It sounds like a fairy tale, right? Someone would snitch on someone and come out and make millions of dollars and go and be successful. That's why I'm saying there's no formula to being successful. And if that's what he did and it went on to bless him, you got to take the good with the bad. Whatever he has coming to him is going to come.
Yeah.
Listen to me. We could talk and everybody had their theories or whatever, but I'm here to tell you, whatever he got coming to him, he gonna get.
Yeah.
And that's a fact.
I feel you. Well, you mentioned Dr. Dre, and you were on tour for the early N.W.A. concerts.
Yes.
At one point, Ice Cube left N.W.A.
Yes.
And the beef started. And, recently Ice Cube did this whole thing on Instagram Live, because I guess it was the 30th anniversary of America's Most Wanted.
Okay.
His first solo album,
Mhm.
which I think is one of the best albums
Yeah,
of any
awesome.
any genre, period.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Were you around when Ice Cube had left and the beef started with N.W.A.
Now, here's what's funny, because if people goes like, TK was every fucking where. The day Ice Cube left, I was there. I was in the, we had all came back from a show. And I was remembering them talking about they all got 75,000, but Ice Cube left. And I didn't understand, because DOC was my roommate on tour. Shout out to the DOC. Anyway, if you're listening to Love You for Life the DOC was my roommate, and I always kept my distance no matter what group I was with. Or even when I toured with R. Kelly, even when I toured with Cash Money, I was much older than these guys at that time. I was like maybe 28, 29. They was in their 21, 22. To me, they was children. You know, you're 28, 29, you're 21. You don't want to mess with that. So I would get my money and go to my room and do what I do because I was already touring already for about 2 or 3 years before they blew up. So I had different girlfriends in all these different cities. So when Ice Cube left, I truly didn't understand it until he dropped the first album, right? I said, okay, all right. Now, this is what you gotta love about Ice Cube, about his work ethic. He drops his album, it goes platinum. He drops another album. Then he does Boys in the Hood with John Singleton, put him on. Watch where I'm going. Then he works so hard that he outworks John Singleton, meaning he started doing his own movies. That's phenomenal. So we go so far back with N.W.A. I remember they had Suzuki Jeeps, sidekicks. Ice Cube, remember the burgundy sidekick you had? Dr. Dre had a small 190 Mercedes Benz. When we was on tour, me and Dre used to go run in the morning. I used to have him jogging and all that kind of stuff. But that story between Ice Cube and Dr. Dre, phenomenal. I don't know if I could have gone through what Dr. Dre has gone through. Everything he had to go through to get to this, whoo, man.
Oh yeah, he had to leave Death Row and leave like his whole catalog initially. And
Yes.
start a whole new thing.
And just the pain, the threats, the aggravation, you don't know what's going to happen to you the next day. And to end up like he truly deserves everything he got coming to him. I wish him the best.
Oh yeah, I mean the whole Death Row thing. Like I remember hearing all these stories where after Snoop decided to leave Death Row, like they were really, like this incident that we talked about, this altercation,
Yeah.
that was part of that whole storyline of he left Death Row, he joined No Limit, but they were still mad about that shit, and they were still
Right.
trying to get him. Same thing I'm sure with Dre. After Dre left Death Row, it wasn't like a good amicable breakup. Like
Right.
Suge and them was still like trying to get on his head and so forth.
Right.
And that's just such a what I feel is a ridiculous way of doing business.
It's ridiculous. It's you got to remember they were young kids at the time. And when I used to sit back and think about some things, and I pretty much gave everybody a pass once I realized they was in their 20s, right? Because when you're in your 20s, you really doing some dumb shit. So anybody that was in their 20s that did crazy things, I always gave them a pass because here's a kid like myself, college, track and field, became an athlete, but I was on probation in 4 different cities from the age of 22 to 42 years old. I had to live a life of, you know how your parents should say, you better walk that motherfucking chalk line? I had to live my life that whole way. So when I got into confrontations, I had to turn the other cheek so that I wouldn't go to jail or be violated on probation. And it probably was a good thing. It trained me, so it made my demeanor as a man become calm. It made my demeanor as a man to not overreact on certain things that's not worth it. And here I am today on Vlad motherfucker TV, baby.
Well, Suge was born in 65. Suge was like in his 30s when a lot of this nonsense was happening.
Yeah. And the thing about Suge is influence, and then some people can't handle fame. You know, Suge was my bodyguard. I think I told you that. Suge was my bodyguard, me and the DLC. You know, we go way back. He used to drive me around his car, just me and him by himself. We never had that type of confrontation. To me, honestly, Suge was a nice guy. So when I hear the stories that what he's done, I sit back and I've seen people like that. My own brother, other people that I've known. Just something about success. You got to really be prepared for it. Just like with the Last Dance of Michael Jordan, right? When you look at that, you get different thoughts about him. You know, they give him a pass because he was great. But what I got out of the Michael Jordan situation is a great man, but at that time could not handle fame and power, because it's hard to walk into your work environment and you're scared of someone. I don't give a fuck. If you win in a championship or whatever, that's a horrible feeling to walk into a room and you're scared of that man or that woman or these group of people.
Well, I mean, speaking of Suge and the whole bodyguard thing, I interviewed DOC.
Yes.
And from your experience, Suge was a nice guy to everybody, but DOC told me firsthand accounts of how him and Suge, you know, he would get drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Suge would go to the club. DOC would go and like grab some girl's ass or something, or disrespect some girl. The dude would turn around and be upset, naturally.
Right.
And in the middle of the argument, Suge would just punch him in the face.
Wow. See, so it goes to
not
show
even
you-
not even knowing that Suge was even with DOC.
Right.
And then they get kicked out of the club, and then the next night they would start over again. I mean,
That's
DOC
crazy.
was telling me these stories.
You know, me and Suge became notorious in Hollywood.
Okay.
We went through a point where they banned us from every joint. You can go in, we'd be walking up to the thing and they'd be like, no, you know what I mean? #1 record or not, bro, you're not coming in here tonight.
Well, you said in the Playboy interview that you would go out and make a mess and Suge would beat people up.
Oh, yeah.
Over it.
I would make the mess and he would clean it up. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. When you say make a mess, give me an example.
I'm drunk and I'm walking into this club and I slap some guy's girl on her butt. And obviously he's going to not like that, you know. And my response would probably be something really vulgar and childish. And at that point he would have to make a move, you know. And none of those people probably even saw Suge till it was too late.
So it was too late.
And then his people and our people, it would be a big mashup. And then we all be running away from the club like kids, which we were basically. You know?
Okay.
21-year-old kid.
That's crazy. But it goes to show the respect he probably had for me. You understand? Like there's certain people that some people don't do certain things around. And he had the utmost respect for me because I could tell you, we never had an issue, not one time. And it was crazy to run into DOC because after that N.W.A. tour, I had not seen DOC for 33 years. And last year he came to my show in Dallas, Texas at my comedy show. So it was good to see him. I hadn't seen him in 33 years. That's how fast it's gone by.
Yeah, I like DLC, man. We've had dinner before. Just, you know, he'd be in New York at the same time.
Yes.
We'd go out and hang out.
Yes.
We'd get on the phone.
Yes.
You know, all this after our interview. And
You
the
never
DOC,
took me to dinner, Vlad. My feelings is
you're
hurt.
not the hangout type.
No,
You're
yeah,
the-
that's true.
you know,
That's true.
This is you. You told me this plenty of times. You're not the
Yeah,
hangout type.
Yeah, I'm not the
You just do
hangout
bu-
type.
You do business.
Right.
But you know, but saying that, I'll invite you out to dinner next time we're in the same show. But the DOC story of how he was on top of the world, just dropped a classic album. He was basically, you know, part of N.W.A. after Ice Cube left. He
Yes.
came in and really kind of made his place in that group, and he's with Dre, and Dre fucks with him and everything. And out of nowhere, that crash happened.
Yes.
And he messes up his vocal cords, and then he goes into the story of how the doctors told him not to operate because they do further damage, but he just wanted to get back on tour again, so he operated again and messed his vocal cords up even more.
Wow.
Just goes to show, you know, as we're sitting here in the whole coronavirus situation,
Yes.
you just can't assume that your life will not be going as good as it is today
So
tomorrow.
true. I totally agree with you 100%. Like, you know, a lot of people say life is too short, but I tell people don't ever say that. I think every time you say life is too short, you take 6 months off your life. Life is too long. and you don't want to tolerate the bullshit because words are powerful. And I always tell people, and I want to put this in the universe so people understand what I mean, how powerful words are. When Biggie Smalls was alive and he did Life After Death, his whole album both was Life After Death. Murder, people dying, correct? Him and Tupac talk about death. They're dead. Jay-Z, Puffy Combs talked about money and hoes. They got the money, they had the hoes. And the Jay-Z got the baddest girl in the game. So what you say, and remember this, people, what you say is extremely powerful, what comes out your mouth. So I try to teach people on your platform how powerful words are.
Yeah, I mean, Tupac's own stepbrother, Mopreem,
Mm-hmm.
I asked him flat out, I said, did Tupac's obsession with death ultimately lead to his demise? And he said, yes. He said every other song, die, die, I'm dead, I'm dying, after I'm gone. Machiavelli album cover, he's on a crucifix with a bullet coming at him. His last music video, he's in heaven.
Yep.
I ain't mad at you.
Yep.
Like, it's just death on top of death on
Yeah.
top of death on top of death.
If you listen through his music, you'll see, through his albums, you'll see there's a constant death chant. It's always talking about death. Don't forget you could die, nigga. You could die, I could die, we could die, I'ma die. Nigga die, nigga, you wanna die? Die. Nigga die, die, death, death, nigga die. You know what I mean? And I think that's because Pac would have dreams too. He would, you know, he would wake up screaming and shit. And
Really? So he felt he was gonna die soon.
yeah. He didn't think he was gonna make it. I mean, a lot of youth at that time as well felt the same way, that we didn't feel we was gonna make it to 21, 23. We didn't, you know. He didn't think he was gonna make it to 21.
And he died. How old was he when he died?
25.
25.
If you don't think you're going to live very long, you're going to act like you're not going to live very long.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, I remember Willie D. I just had him on my show, and it's like, people like to say, well, when it's my time, it's my time. But Willie looked at it, Willie D looks at it like, yeah, but are you speeding things along?
That's right.
Does joining a gang speed things along for you? Does driving without your seatbelt speed things along for you?
Right. It's true. And I always tell people, see, God is a beautiful thing. And the thing about life is you want to eat right, take care of your health to extend the contract, right? There's a contract between you and whatever your higher being is. So the goal is, hey, I want to do everything right to extend the contract. Because see, I understand life, right? I want all my motherfucking minutes out of this thing because I love it. That's why I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not even doing nothing at fucking 4 in the morning. I just want to be up to know and let the man, my creator, understand I appreciate this shit. I appreciate my living room, my backyard, driving a nice car, talking to good people. You know what I'm saying? Having barbers and flying my kids different places. This shit is important to me. And people need to start taking advantage. You got to have a purpose to get your ass up in the morning. You know, I want people to strive. Stop trying to be with every girl. Stop trying to have all these fucking babies. Stop trying to, get your life together so you can enjoy this shit. Like people don't see what we see, Vlad. They playing.
Yeah, I remember watching the new Jumanji movie, and Danny DeVito had this quote that just really stuck in my head. He said, a lot of people try to say that getting old is hell. Man, it's not hell, it's a gift. Being old and getting to an old age is a gift.
And I make women understand that. You ever hear a female talk about, oh my God, I'm getting old? I was like, well, would you like to die today? It changed the whole perspective. Like, no, well, it's a gift. You want to get all this shit out that you got coming to, because ain't no coming back.
Yeah. You're in your 50s. I'm in my 40s. Tupac never got this far. Biggie never got this far. Pop Smoke never got this far.
Nope.
A lot of the people that we admire and we idolize and we look up to did not get this far. And it takes being pretty smart to get to an older age.
Yes, sir. It does. I agree. Especially in my life, turn another cheek, staying in when you're supposed to stay in, not letting things lure you into the wrong place. Believe it or not, your friends are important as well. A lot of people are dead or in bad situations because they want to be down with their friends. I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm a loner. If anybody gonna get themselves in trouble, it's gonna be me getting myself in trouble, not because I was hanging with another guy or another female.
Andre Harrell just passed.
Man.
Did you know him?
I met him a few times. We knew each other. Yeah, we definitely knew each other. And when I saw that, I said, fuck. It just makes you appreciate so much in life because in my head, I had this visual thing in my head. That's why I don't like going to funerals, because you go to funerals and especially family members. My thoughts used to always be, who's next? Like I'll be looking at aunts and cousins. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, who's next? So when you see this list of people going, think about it. From the 2000 to 2020, we lost Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Prince, and so on, right? All between 2000 and 2020.
Yeah, we just lost Little Richard.
Little Richard. Awesome guy. I met him years ago. James Brown we lost in the last 20 years. I lost 3 uncles and 3 aunts between April 1st and March 19th. And we just pretty much buried half the people. Last person got buried yesterday. That's how backed up the funeral homes are on the East Coast.
Yeah, man, my condolences on that.
It's crazy.
My condolences, yeah.
And remember years ago, I used to always say, get your fucking life insurance. Now you can't even get it. I heard they're giving people a hard time.
I bet. And before we get off this topic, I want to shout out the passing of Francisco Ceballo, who was a 73-year-old man from Angola, who at the time of his death had 156 children and 47 wives.
What? During this pandemic thing, if you got a good woman with you, it can truly be a blessing. But think about the people who are with people and they don't like each other. This has been hell.
Oh, yeah. Imagine the domestic violence that's happening during this time.
It skyrocketed, didn't it?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yes. Woo.
That's what I heard. Yeah, being locked up with someone you hate.
Man.
And you don't have the money to put yourself in a new situation.
Exactly. And this is what, Vlad, you've been interviewing me for 4 or 5 years. I've been saying this since day one. Have your money right. And they think it's just because I want them to be able to date. It's really because if it doesn't work out, the transition is smoother. You can get your own place, right? You can get your own car. One of the worst things I don't want a man to go through, that will ever hear these words, is pack your shit and get the fuck out my house. I don't want no man to have a woman ever say that to them.
Well, you were actually in LA in the vicinity when Biggie got killed.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, me and his assistant, Leote Black Nwa, was Puffy's assistant. We all hung out that day out in Malibu. Biggie and them got tattoos. And what was interesting about that day was after we hung out, I forgot the hotel we were staying at on Sunset Boulevard. When we went to the party, I had a comedy show that night at the Comedy Act Theater. I didn't want to go because when I say, Vlad, that party was the shit. When I say everybody and their mama was at this event, it was amazing. So I had 3 women, I'm always pulling women. So I had 3 women leave with me to go to Crenshaw to do this comedy show. But I saw all the gang members there. I know everybody. And I said, okay, this shit ain't gonna last the whole night. When I come back, I see the police got the streets blocked off. One of my friends said, yo, TK, Biggie got shot. I'm like, yeah, right. So I went to Outkast's listening party. They had a party right there on Sunset. It used to be from the old Carlos and Charlie's back in the day. So I'm up there and my senses wasn't right. I start looking out the window and I said, let me just go to see the Sinai. So I got in my car, went to the hospital. I saw this big crowd. I saw Leote there, and she told me that Biggie had passed away. And I just couldn't believe it. I went home, sat on my hotel. I mean, not home. I went to my hotel room, sat on the bed, and I remember like it was yesterday. I called my mom because what was crazy, he died March 9th, and my brother in 97. Am I right? Didn't he die 97? Biggie?
Let me see.
March 9th, 1997.
Yeah, March 9th, 1997.
And my brother had got murdered March 9th. My brother got murdered in 95, first week of January. So he died on my brother's birthday. So I remember calling my mother and saying, "Mom, how this boy died." And she was really sad about it as well. So it took me, he was a good kid, you know? So it makes you, like I said, all this death, you just appreciate life, you know? You start getting to know, you appreciate everything to the point that even when you're driving, you cut the radio off just to hear the tires on the highway. You look out your window, you see the breeze, you appreciate the breeze. You know, you see people who can't walk, you like, man, this person can't walk, and we're not thankful of how we can actually get up and go walk, and we take it for granted. So I appreciate everything.
Yeah, I mean, my dad passed late last year, and I remember at the end, he had to be in a wheelchair, and I remember thinking like, okay, let me get back on this treadmill. Let me go ahead and start moving around and getting in better shape. 'Cause
Yes.
here's my dad, who had been active his whole life. His
Right.
whole life. He got hit with Parkinson's at the end, so it was really
Man.
out of his control.
Yes.
But out of nowhere it came, and it really made me think like, okay, as long as I can walk, I'm gonna appreciate walking.
That's right. And I remember I said, extend the contract of life, right? That's what's the important thing. And what I want to also tell people, think about what you just said. It's not how well you live, it's how well you die.
Hmm.
Do you have everything right for you on your last days? And how do you want to go? Like this nursing, people dying in nursing homes or anything of that nature, and not being prepared to be in your own home or have someone to take care of you, understanding guardianship. See, a lot of people don't understand guardianship, how if you are considered incapacitated, how the state will come in, take your home, take your money, and the children, they'll take it away from the kids. So I want everybody listening to understand guardianship. If you get a chance to watch the docuseries Dirty Money on Netflix. And it's an episode in there about guardianship, how this man had all this stuff going on and this attorney robbed him, and understand it's a system. The state is involved, the judge, the prosecutors, everything. Just like when Kobe Bryant passed away in January. And I saw his wife, Vanessa, had went to get to attorney to have her daughter be part of the will, because Kobe didn't have time to do it prior to his death. But now she has to pay out of the estate to guardians to protect the rights of her child. You understand? Somebody's getting paid off this man's money that had nothing to do with it. So that's why people have to really understand guardianship, understand what you're doing, and get the right attorney. Because also think about the attorneys who are the attorneys on that guardianship with Kobe. They get to eat for the rest of their life. Michael Jackson, attorneys, get to eat for the rest of their life. They wasn't in that damn basement when Joe was whooping their ass with a belt and Michael was doing all them damn spins. You understand what I'm saying? So the attorneys, whoo.
Yeah, I think that the Tupac estate is run by one of the attorneys now that his mom passed. Yeah, there you go.
Paid. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you can pass it down. Like if you're an attorney, you could pass it to your children. It's a crazy game, man.
Well, when you were hanging out with Biggie the day he got killed, did he realize that there was a level of danger in LA because Suge was still mad about the situation, the beef was still kind of ongoing? I heard there were some threats floating around and so forth.
So here's my thing. I would happen to be associated with the East Coast and the West Coast. On that particular day, even though we hung out early that day, everything I've always done, I've always been in my own lane, my own zone. I never got caught up because I'm from the East Coast originally. So until me and Puff had our little situation back in the day, they always treated me with the utmost respect. Like Puff would treat me with the utmost respect. We'll go to Madison Square Garden together. He'll let me be in his dressing room, Lobster, Cristal, everything. Like Biggie, Lil C's, everybody, Lil Kim, the whole team. I wound up doing one of Puffy's birthday parties back in the day. So when they came to LA, I was pushing my truck. You know, they had the green truck. I had a black one, just like that. And we got it from Beverly Hills Rent-A-Car, right there on the corner, right by the airport. Shout out to Dave, to Beverly Hills Rent-A-Car at the time. I'm quite sure he's still doing his thing. And as far as the energy, I never got a part of it, never felt it, wasn't even paying attention to it, believe it or not. I just be in my own zone, believe it or not. But, you know, I just be doing me.
Well, you were also in Vegas when Tupac got killed.
Damn sure was. And early that day, I don't know why I'm taking fat burners. This is a crazy story. Because me and Mike Tyson, all of us are tight as well. So when Tupac gets killed, I'm at the club 666 in Vegas.
662.
662. I'm up in VIP, but I start getting sick because fat burners and alcohol don't go together. So and I'm not even fat. I'm just taking fat burners thinking I'm doing this stuff. So I'm taking fat burners. I think took it like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So after leaving the fight, everybody goes their own way. I'm laying in the hotel at the party and I'm watching the news, sick as a motherfucker. And I see on the news that Tupac got shot. And I even had said he's gonna get out because I wound up staying in that hotel for about a week. And right after that, after he passed, I had a comedy show in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Comedy Zone. So it was just a crazy thing with Tupac because he was a nice gentleman too. We used to open up for him down in Atlanta at Jack the Rapper. Just crazy to see all this. Matter of fact, Vlad, let's change the topic we can about death. We've been on death for like 10 fucking minutes.
Well, I had an interview recently with Marcellus Wiley, former football player, now has a show on Fox Sports.
Yes.
And he said that the majority of professional sports players right now, well, not a majority, he said about a third of professional sports players right now are living paycheck to paycheck.
Wow.
To focus it on athletes, yeah. When I played, guys were living check to check. CJ McCollum just came out and said he thinks a third of the NBA players are living check to check. I would bet that number may be even higher in the NBA or NFL. You're young. You have so many things pulling at you, family, business, and you don't know the proper value of that. So what does that lead itself into? You start doing stuff where you don't properly budget it. You think I'm young, I'm invincible, I'm going to make this money for a long period of time. And then when something like this hits you, a harsh reality that changes that dynamic, you haven't planned for it, just like most people haven't planned for it.
Well, this is a story that we've been known for years, right? They get famous and get their money, no management, out here fronting for people that don't care. I mean, think about the 2 football players just this weekend that did the robbery at the party, right? And they all took off in Lamborghinis, BMWs, and a Porsche.
And I was going to lead into this. At some point, it was two guys, DeAndre Baker and Quentin Dunbar,
Yes.
who apparently them and some other guy decided to rob like a barbecue full of people.
Right.
And they stole like Rolex watches,
Yes.
Hublots, Audemars, other jewelry, cash, and they ran off in like a Lamborghini and some
Yes.
other.
Like nobody's gonna
you know.
recognize you.
At some point, being a professional football player, do you say, okay, I am 100% not going to get away with this. Let me just stop what I'm doing and say, oh man, I was just bullshitting. Here's all your stuff back.
Right.
Let's just stop this before we actually leave the vicinity.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, you're in a Lamborghini. What? You're thinking, oh, well, I can outrun the cops because I got a Lamborghini.
Let me tell you, Vlad, like the older I get, don't get me wrong, when I was young, I did some fucked up things and made bad choices. But I want kids to understand that the reason why we have shows like this and the reason why we have history and we have Google and we have other things you can find out history is for you guys not to make the same mistakes. This is why we are here, to teach the youth not to make the same mistakes so that you can sidestep some of the bullshit that you don't have to go through in life, right? These young men, whether, right now we're gonna say that they're innocent, right? We're gonna say that they're innocent. But to put yourself in a situation like that, to jeopardize everything you worked hard for, it's not worth it.
Well, there was a string of football players that have been arrested recently in the past week. There was the wide receiver for the Redskins, Cody Latimer, was assaulted on assault and gun charges. Apparently, he got into a poker game with some people that didn't go well, and he pulled out a gun and threatened to kill everybody. He got arrested for that. Buffalo Bills player Ed Oliver Jr. arrested for DUI and unlawful gun possession.
Yes.
And then let's not forget Earl Thomas was, I guess, cheating on his wife, and she showed up with her friends and a pistol.
Yes.
And put a gun to his head.
Man, listen to me. I always teach young men who are successful in their 20s and late 20s, early 30s, that when you get that kind of money, fuck trying to fall in love. You have to travel the world, have fun, date different women, still be nice. I don't know. See, some people, I need people to understand, don't treat them like they ain't shit. You got to always treat a woman with the utmost respect. Flowers, champagne. Don't get married to mess up another woman's life because this woman is truly in love with you. And I truly believe that if you can't marry someone on equal level, it's because marriage is a business, regardless of what motherfuckers say. And if people don't understand that if you got 2 or 3 million, liquor store and a car, and the woman that you fucking with ain't got shit, but you get caught cheating and she divorced you, half that shit is hers. So I always tell people,
unless you have a prenup.
And they got ways to get away with prenups now.
They do, but a prenup is a significant obstacle to
Yeah, it is. But my point is most of them don't, right? So guys, you gotta listen to me and Vlad. Live your fucking life. Why go through all that bullshit? When you got all that kind of money, you're supposed to travel and have a good time with women. And then there's a thing called settle down, because you've done it all. You done had every type of STD. You done had every type of shot in your ass, right? You so tired of pussy that you go, you know what? I just really want a real nice woman to raise my children. And then dating so many women will give you the knowledge of what type of woman you want to have your child. Like some women are beautiful with the nice titties and ass and long hair, do the makeup. Them girls are just for trophy, go out, have dinner, to look cute. But do you want them to take your child to soccer game? Will they take your child to football games? See, some women not built for that. So you got to find the type of woman that you pay the bills, or y'all pay the bills together, or y'all take turns to take the kids to baseball, take turns to basketball camp. Because some of these women, and they might just be young now, hopefully they listen to this interview too, and as they move forward, can become a decent mom to raise these children who are coming out here in this world in the next 15, 20 years.
Well, and I'll tell you this. If you are a man with some money and you marry, or you're getting ready to marry a woman who does not have very much money, if she does not agree to sign a prenup, she is not the one.
I totally agree.
I'll just say this flat out.
I
And
like
I know that
that.
women are going to get pissed off and so forth. If a woman says, "I will not marry you with a prenup," she is not the one.
I totally
now,
agree.
a prenup doesn't mean that she gets nothing. You could say, "Okay, look, I'm sitting on $5 million. If we get divorced, I'll give you $500,000."
Right.
But,
Yeah, of course,
but
it's
you're
gonna
not going to get.
negotiate.
You're not
Right.
going to get. You're not going to get half.
Right.
I mean, because really, in most states, it's like half of what was earned during the course of the marriage. Like, if the woman is not contributing to what you're earning, giving her half of what you've earned primarily by yourself is
Yes.
ridiculous.
And we
So-
want to, for the record, and vice versa, ladies. I know there's some women say, well, what about if the female have more money than the guy? Same thing.
Prenup.
Same thing. And I was always taught through my aunt, she always said, if you met someone that didn't have what you want them to have, then make them an asset. You can go that route too. But you got to really understand, because that can backfire you. I've seen a lot of people put the girl through medical school, hair school, and may change their life. And boom, she gone.
Right. Because the thing about a prenup or alimony and so forth, it does not apply to children.
Right.
Child support is automatic regardless of the paperwork that you sign.
Yes.
If you go and have 2, 3 children with this woman and you're a millionaire and you get divorced, you're gonna have to pay if she has primary custody, regardless of the paperwork. So
Right.
she's gonna be good in that regard.
Right.
But if she says, "I'm not gonna sign a prenup," or "You're gonna have to marry someone else," go and find someone else.
Go find someone else. Or stay single
Yep.
like me.
There you go. There you go. Well, Bow Wow recently went on Instagram and he's talking about how everyone's saying not to fly and you know, the planes are dangerous right now. But he's saying all he sees is these women that are out flying out to go meet dudes for a cash app. Like,
Right.
they're literally risking their lives for a few $100s in a free trip.
Right.
It's interesting to me, just, you know, from the outside looking in, that you would literally risk your life right now trying to go see someone for a little bit of money, getting on a plane, which I'm not doing right now at all.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I've got a whole apartment in Manhattan right now that's empty because I just don't want to take the flight. I'm
Right.
paying month after month of rent, and that's fine because I'm trying to stay alive.
That's right. And that's the
But-
capital of all this shit that's going down.
Exactly.
Yes.
That too. But even really seeing new people during a time like this just seems crazy to me. But apparently it's still happening.
Well, it goes to show you about leadership, right? And me and the gentleman was talking about this a little earlier. Leadership has so many levels that can confuse you. When you have a leader like Donald Trump, who no one respects, no one believes, then you have governments and mayors who have taken the wing of things to try to run it their way because the federal government don't know what the fuck they doing, right? And I always tell people in my show, and I think you remember this in my show, I always say the government pimps the state pimps the city pimps the people. So when you don't have leadership, people do what the fuck they want to do because they don't believe nobody. So this is why we have big parties down in Atlanta, Georgia in the thousands. This is why we have beaches in Miami and Los Angeles packed like it was a concert down these places because no one is believing in anyone. Same thing with the young ladies going to get their money. They got to eat. They're trying to be protective, but it's a sign of what you see, right? Demonstrations better than conversation. So you see people doing whatever they want to do. because we had a leader that said, this is a hoax, and miraculously, this is going to disappear. Now we got 90,000 people, 90,000 people dead on his watch because of his hatred towards President Obama, who, when he got rid of all the pandemic centers over when he got into office to protect us. And here we are today. Now we have to live with something for the rest of our lives because we have no vaccine, right? There's no vaccine. People want to go live their lives. So you could be walking past a person, someone could just touch you, and they don't even know how you're getting it. It could be it could be a sneeze, it could be a touch, you just don't know. So with all that said, and then you do the reading and what's going to happen in the fall with the COVID when it comes back to second wave, along with the flu, what it's going to do to people. Now I'm at that age. I'm in that age group where they knocking this shit out. Like I'm in this. So I'm taking the vitamin C. I'm doing whatever the fuck I can not to be having a tribute on your show and not to be on CNN News, being in that 90, 100,000 one night late on Don Lemon.
Well, what do you think of the term Karen?
Karen?
Yeah, that's like a term that's used for like the white women that call the police on you, or
That's fucking hilarious.
You haven't heard that before?
Nah, I never heard that. You're teaching me something. Here's the thing. We was raised that if a woman ever called the cops on you, you leave that woman alone. That's how we was raised. But men, with their emotional state of mind and overreaction, hitting a female or threatening a female, what are you supposed to do? That's why we want to teach young men that to control your emotions, because these women will call the police on you. Your ass will get locked up. And if you are an entertainer, you got a great job, you're a supervisor, you will lose your job. And one of the worst things to go to jail for is over some ass or jealousy. To be sitting in there and people ask you, yo, what you in for? Like, yo, my bitch just tripping. Yo, that's embarrassing. It really is. I always tell guys, if you ain't got problems, you got problems with your girl, get a new bitch. You got problems with your man, get a new man. Like, fuck it. Like, people who, I like domestic violence classes, right? They say, oh, people go to domestic violence class, they spend 52 weeks and they call the girl, baby, I got myself together and I went to these classes, I'm okay now. See, I don't believe in domestic violence classes. I believe you stay away from the motherfucker that can make you mad. That's like saying I'm a crackhead, right? But then you get clear up, but you go hang around the same motherfuckers that do crack. If you in domestic violence and the woman that put you in jail and you go back to her, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get locked up again.
Well, yeah, I was watching your stand-up special this morning.
Yes.
On Amazon Prime.
Thank you.
Look it up.
Thank
it up,
you.
everybody. And you're talking about how dudes will sit there and fuck every girl in town, and their girl will cheat one time, and they'll want to kill her, and then kill themselves.
Everybody. They want to kill. I was in a situation like that. That's why that joke came up. I had a guy who wasn't even dating this girl. And I didn't even know they was fucking around a while back. I met her. We had a good time. He found out about it, but he waited 6-7 months. And then one day I'm standing out in front of the funny bone on Sunset, and he wasn't even man enough to confront me head on. He came behind me and hit me head with a pipe. Knocked me, I fell backwards, and my head hit the car, hit the street. A female who was there picked me up because a cab was almost about to run over my head, almost died. So now, him being who he is, him being my man, we all pretty much know the same people. People telling me not to press charges. I'm talking to him. So my thing was, I wanted him to fight me head up and give me a fair one. And he didn't want to fight me. I was the big homie and all that kind of stuff. And it hurt my heart because so many other people was about to get involved with me and this guy that it could have really escalated something over some ass. Like, to me, to fight a man and a group of other men coming because they respect you, they fuck with you, over a female is the dumbest shit in the world. So I had prayed on it, believe it or not, and I had asked God to give me the strength to just be a better person. So I had to really make a choice, and everything that's come to me, Vlad, the Breakfast Club, my company to put out my specials, my record label, shout out to Jason Riggs. I've been blessed 10 times more than making a decision to prove a point to a young man that I was the wrong person to fuck with. Because in my heart, that's what I wanted to do. In my heart, I was gonna throw it all out the window. And sometimes you gotta talk to yourself, right? And I didn't want to see myself in jail saying to myself, this shit wasn't worth it. And that's why all my experiences in my younger days, in my 20s and 30s, have taught me to value and appreciate the things that I do now. And peace of mind, the greatest thing I wish for everybody in this world, these gentlemen here sitting here, watching you and other people, that one day, as you get older, you can have the blessing of peace of mind because it's priceless.
Yeah, I remember I interviewed Willie D recently,
Mm-hmm.
and he said the most profound shit that I'd heard in a very long time. He said, we all know a bunch of guys that say, all right, we're going to go to the club tonight, and if some dudes disrespect us, we're going to fuck them up.
Mm-hmm.
We all know people like this.
Right.
But we don't know very many people that say this. All right, we're going to go to the club tonight, and if some dudes disrespect us, we're going to fuck them up. Now, in the process of doing that, I'll probably get killed. So you could have my Jordan collection and tell my mother that I got some money behind my closet,
Right.
and give my car to my sister, because I'm not planning for what the other person's going to do. I'm just thinking in my head how I'm going to react to another person.
Right.
But if you look at most of the people on death row who have killed a bunch of people, they're not big, huge, tough guys.
No.
They're usually smaller guys.
Yes.
Who don't want to be fucked with.
You know, I'm gonna make one stop before I go out there because I gotta go over here to my girl house and I'm gonna kiss my baby and kiss my woman and let them know I love them, and then I'm gonna go over here and get killed. Oh, and I'll bury this the suit I want you to bury me in. Man, to tell them don't be putting too much makeup on me and shit, man, because you know I don't like all that, man. You know, tell that mortuary man, you let them know, man. You know, like you would really plan it all the way out, but they don't plan on what other people could possibly do to them. They only think about what they're gonna do to somebody else. So early on, I was cognizant of what the other person might do. Like I never underestimate people. I don't give a damn about size. I wrote size ain't shit for Bushwick Bill. All right? So I don't care about size. Likewise, there are other people who don't care about size. And if you look at death row, I remember a few years ago, I looked at the people that were on death row, and most of those guys were under 6 feet tall and 160 pounds soaking wet. Little cats squeezing that trigger. So there are guys that because they got some size on them, they're quick to fight, quick to swing on somebody. Oh, little old nigga, I'll whoop your ass. I've heard people say that in the club. Oh, little old nigga, man, this little nigga. Boom! Rap, bro.
Right. And I always tell people work out like me, you know, I got my little thing. Big guys who work out always get shot by a skinny nigga. True story. There's always skinny nigga. But it has to go back to the times when I was growing up, when we had slow dancing and great music. And it's a lot of men to this day have never had a woman on the dance floor and macked her so beautifully, buy her a drink, go to the middle of the dance floor, she smelled so good, you talk in her ear. So when you have moments like that and you understand what it is, we have to get back to teaching men how to go to a club. Instead of trying to fight, ask a woman to dance. instead of trying to fight, buy a woman a drink. And if she doesn't want to talk to you, that's all right. Buy another woman a drink. There's other women in the club. Just because you bought this woman a drink don't mean you got to stay up under her. I always tell men, when you always buy a woman a drink because that's for her time. You never sit there and talk to a woman and not buy a drink. That means you have no class. And if you ain't got no money, you shouldn't be in the club anyway. So you're in the club, you should have a few dollars on you. Yeah, some women are going to just take a drink. That's part of the game. You buy a woman a drink, it don't work out, you go meet somebody else. Now, if you pull somebody else and that bitch bad, the woman that passed up on it is going to be like, wow, I fucked up. And those are the things that you look forward to. Player to player, pimp to pimp.
Well, speaking of money, the CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos,
Woo!
they're saying could become the world's first trillionaire with a T.
Yes.
By the year 2026.
Isn't that awesome?
And before I ask you your opinion on this, I just want to say this. When you hear me say this, and when you read this in the, on the websites, if you get angry and say it's not fair that this guy got so much money while everyone else is out of work and you need to put him in prison or carve up his money, you are setting a roadmap for yourself to be broke for the rest of your life.
I agree. Do people say that about him?
People, you see the comments like, oh, it costs a third of that to end the world's hunger. The fact that one person got so much money is just criminal and he doesn't pay his employees nothing. And, he needs to this, that, and the third. When I hear this, I become inspired. I say, damn, that's possible. A person who was born around the same time as me, who looks kind of like me, who I feel is about as smart as I am, could put together $1 trillion.
That's awesome.
I love it.
And see, the way you think is the way I think. It doesn't make me mad at him. It inspires you to achieve it, right? And I always tell people, and listen, what I'm about to tell you, everybody, never tell somebody else what they should do with their money. Never. Regardless of what your heart says, regardless of what you feel in your heart, you can't tell somebody else who worked hard for their money what they should do with their money, no matter how much they have. It's just the law. Never do that.
Oh yeah, I no longer have a friend these days because he got into it with me about how I want to give him some money to go see his girl. And
what?
I said, nah, I'm good. Because I'd already lent him some money and he never paid me back.
Wait, though. I got to stop you. A man asked you to give him some money to go see his girl. Wow. You should have said, am I fucking her? That's what you just said. You gonna let me fuck her? The fuck? Man, I can't believe that.
If that's the case, yeah, go ahead. Here,
right. Now, if that was the case, different story, but that's embarrassing.
Yeah, he actually twisted up his mouth and said, I seen you spend thousands of dollars on some bullshit and you're not gonna lend the money to your man so I could go see my girl. And I said, man, fuck you and that bitch.
Yeah.
Those were my exact words.
Yeah. Step your game up.
Yeah. Pathetic, man. And but there's not a lot of men out there that really stand on their own too their whole lives. You see these mama's boys that are in their 30s and 40s still living with their mothers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The world I feel sorry for the women in today's generation. For masculinity, you got the guys wearing the dingling earrings. You got the men who are softer than the females. Because the women hit me on my Instagram all the time. TK, thank you for speaking up on masculinity. Thank you for talking about Dwyane Wade. Thank you for saying all these different type of things. Because the girls don't know who to choose to be the men in their relationship. So you find women who are taking the lead, so to speak. They're the man. They're running everything. And they just really want someone that can understand being a man so they don't have to make the decisions where to go to dinner, where we're going this, where we're doing that. Because men are not doing that anymore as a whole.
Well, what did you think about the whole Dwyane Wade thing? You're talking about his son? How his son is transitioning to a woman?
Well, the thing that here's the thing about how I feel about this. I think every man, every parent can raise their child the way they want to behind closed doors. But once it comes on social media, it belongs to all of us. So once it's out there, then we have to give our opinion on it, because especially if it's something that you truly believe. I don't hate Dwyane Wade. I just feel that your business should have stayed behind closed doors, and we don't need to know about how you are going to raise your child. But since you put your business out there, I'm going to voice my opinion on how I feel about it. Does it mean I hate you? No. I just believe don't go around promoting that shit if that's not what the rest of the world is thinking of, because you're a man. You're one of the most iconic basketball players in the world. So if you're going from show to show promoting a confused society already, because we all they're confused out here because they're influenced to a whole nother level. You're gonna have other young kids talking to their parents, making decisions of, such and such did it with his child, dad or mom. I want to do the same thing. And parents are here to guide the children, to tell them what's right and wrong. You won't let a 14-year-old shoot up heroin in their arm. You won't let a 14-year-old go rob a bank. You won't let a 14-year-old take your car and just drive down the freeway. This is what parents will say, no, that's wrong. You can't do that. We're here as guidance. We're here as elders. So it's the same thing in make a decision on your sex life or what you want to become. Now, once you've grown, and grown to me is 30, some people say 18 and 20 is grown. No, grown to me is 30 years old. You have experience in life, and you know how to pay bills. You know how to change the toilet paper. You got young, grown-up motherfucker men taking the toilet paper, right? They don't change the whole toilet paper. They leave the one that's off and then put the other toilet paper on top of that without changing the whole thing. If you're still doing that, you're not ready for anything in life.
Well, yeah, Dwyane Wade's son is 12 years old.
Yeah, see?
And I wasn't having sex at 12 years old. I mean, I'm sure in some communities that's a common thing. Wasn't common for me. I was still a virgin at 12. At 12, you don't know sexually really anything.
Yes.
If you haven't had sex yet, how do you know sexually what you're into?
Yes. That's
you don't.
Right, you don't. And for the people who listen who want to defend this, and if Dwyane Wade, you listening to it, like I said, my nigga, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at anybody that want to raise your child that way. But once this shit go on social media and the world sees how you're running, especially we're against it, real niggas are speaking up. That's the problem with the world. We always turn the other cheek and let people do what they want to do. I'm here to hold motherfuckers accountable.
Well, yeah, there's always the whole thing of female equality and everything that should apply to a man should apply to a woman. But I have yet to take a woman out on a date and have her pull out her wallet.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
And in fact, the times that I just said, hey, why don't you cover it this time? I'll cover it next time. I can distinctly remember multiple situations where that woman did not want to see me again after that. No, during my broke days. Okay. Once I got some money.
I think I've done it through my life, and the women have always stayed around. Like the women that I've dated are so successful, so strong, that if I want to fly somewhere and I say I'm gonna pay for it, they'll say, I'll pay for my own ticket. I don't need you to pay for my ticket. So I always tell men when we was young, we tricking and flying women different places. There's women out here, Vlad, listen to what I'm telling you, that will pay their own. Not that it's a bad thing, because as a man, if you pay your own way, okay, I still got the hotel, so we might do a little shopping and I'll pay for dinner, everything. But to know that there's someone that can contribute is a beautiful thing. Because all men, no matter rich or poor, want to know that the woman that they're dating or the man that they're dating can help out a little bit. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, and even if they can't help out financially, they better make up for that in other ways.
In other ways. I totally agree. That's being thoughtful and considerate. Like if you're moving with me and you ain't got no money, but the cable bill is just $100, and you say, this is all I got is $100, I'm good with that.
Yep. Well, right now, public venues are all closed.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sports games going on anywhere. There's no major concerts. And all my comedian friends right now are not doing any shows.
Mhm.
And for the majority of those people, that is a lot of their money.
Yes.
Were you personally affected by all of your bookings suddenly disappearing?
Oh, hell yeah. Thousands of dollars. But as we was raised, and our parents used to tell us, save your money for a rainy day. That's embedded in my heart. And through my lifetime, it's been a couple drizzles, and you're like, oh, it's okay, but this is a motherfucking storm. And I'm so thankful that I think I'll be able to ride this out in my lifetime until this thing gets a little better. But that's like I'm always put things in place. Like, my special that you saw earlier today called Who Raised You? I own it. It's the #1 special on Amazon Prime. I also have another special on there called Are There Any Questions? So yeah, people are doing the Instagram thing with the Cash App on the bottom, which I think is cheesy. No disrespect. Don't put me on no Instagram and have Cash App, because I ain't hurting for money like that. My thing is, go to my comedy special, Who Raised You? It's different. It's not like no other comedy show. You're gonna learn something from it, and you'll be able to tell somebody else about the show. And if you're not sensitive, if you're not weak and you have lived life, this is a comedy show for you. But if you ain't got your life together, you soft, do not watch Who Raised You.
I mean, it's interesting. I had Earthquake on my show
Yes.
earlier this year, and this was our first interview.
Yes.
And when I have a new guest on and I don't know them very well, sometimes I have to sort of tiptoe around certain questions and figure out how I'm going to ease into it.
Yes.
And one of the questions I had was before our interview, there was an interview I saw on Comedy Hype with his ex-wife.
Yes.
Talking about how Earthquake stopped paying child support, and
Yes.
her and his son is now homeless, and it's just how messed up it is and so forth. So, near the end of our interview, I brought this up. And I said, do you want to discuss this? He said, absolutely. He said, look, when I first, split up with my wife,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to pay child support, as a stand-up comedian, I understand that my money's not always going to be regular.
Right.
I'm an independent contractor. If I get shows, then I'm good. But if I don't, I might have a drought.
Right.
So I never want to be, he never wants to be in a situation where suddenly he's backed up on child support or whatever.
Mhm.
So the whole time that he was paying, he was overpaying,
Okay.
preparing himself for a situation where he's not going to have any money coming in.
Right.
Now, by the grace of God, he never had that downturn,
Mm-hmm.
and he never had a situation where he didn't have to pay. So by the age of like 15 or whatever, he had already paid up his child support
Awesome.
for the child's life. And the woman did not plan out properly her own finances and was depending on this man's money
Yes.
to support both her and their son.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's doing interviews talking about how he's a deadbeat dad and whatever else. But he's like, I've paid everything off.
Well, in the interview, she said because you had paid off your child support a little bit early, that she felt she was about to be homeless along with your son.
Well, her being homeless is not. The reason why I paid it off early, because I'm an independent contractor, as if you.
Yep.
You don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
If you have a young lady, which she is, and you know that if I mess around and get sick, I will not make money to pay her. So my thing is, let me put some extra to it so I build up some working capital. So in case I get sick, I have payments I already paid.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to the good Lord, I never got sick. So those 15 years of extra payments accumulated to 6 months early of me paying. So I say a joke, my son is 17, but in child support years, he's 18.
Right.
So if women want a man to pay the arrears for the money she didn't get, then if you've been paid overages, you can't keep that too. You can't have it both ways. And if you spend it, and because you spend it, now it results in you not able to sustain your
standard of living, how is it my fault?
I'm on your side, bro.
How is it my fault? How am I making you homeless? Because I fulfilled my legal obligation to you, who you sent me to court. You took me to child support. They set the parameters in the prison. Personally, I would have gave you more had you came and talked to me. But you brought a third arbiter in here and said, I don't trust him. Y'all tell us that you brought this man in here. And he said, this is how much I have to pay. I honored it and took it on everything. I paid my son everything, his personal, his private school, his Cadillac truck his tuitions that he's going now for college. He lives in the room with him in Calabasas where I got the house for him. Everything financially has to deal with my kid on. Now the money that I give to you that's supposed to be for him now is causing you financial hardship. And do you call me and say this is that? I didn't hear from her. I heard the video. And for comedy hype, which they say in the interview that I'm the motivation for them having this site, they have never interviewed me like you interviewed me. But you interviewed my ex-wife?
Right.
And the amount of men that were in my mention saying this is the best shit I'd ever heard in my life. This is so great. And it just shows how proper planning. You plan it out properly. You don't sit there and, you know, I got friends who don't have a passport right now because they didn't pay their child support.
Wow.
I remember I forgot who I was talking to, but when those $1,200 checks start coming in, one of the rules is that if you owe money on child support, you're not getting that $1,200 check.
Right.
And I said, makes perfect sense to me.
Right. I agree.
The number of men that DM me that said, that's so fucked up for you saying that because it ain't my fault that I'm backed up on child support and I only make $30,000 a year and everything else like that. And I'm like, you really want me to feel sorry for you?
Well,
you're a grown man with kids making $30,000 a year.
Remember what I told you a long time ago on your show? I said, your bad planning should not be my emergency. Because you fucked up should not be my emergency. And that's why I always say, men, manage your dick properly. Know who you fucking. If your money's not right, you should not be nutting in these women. Period. You should not be putting yourself in the debt. Period. Ain't nothing else to say. If you know your money ain't right, you can't be laying in bed, coming in a woman, thinking everything is gonna be okay. You a fool. You hustling backwards.
Yeah. Or get a vasectomy. How's that?
Or get a vasectomy.
No one wants to do that.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers got 7 kids from 6 different women.
Yeah.
They're struggling to support them, but I would never get a vasectomy though.
Right.
Oh no, I ain't doing that shit.
And it's something that we should think about. I wish I'd have did it. I got 5 kids. I wish I'd have got a vasectomy. And the reason why, because I really wish all my kids could have been under one roof with one woman.
I have a friend who had 2 kids from 2 different women in a 7-month time span.
Damn.
Neither one of which he was really with. He was just fucking them.
Right.
And when I said, yo, my man, you should get a vasectomy right now. Because I remember after all this happened, some other girl he was fucking ended up getting an abortion or had a miscarriage or something like that. I said, yo, my man, you should get a vasectomy. And he said, well, but what if I meet some woman in my future who's the love of my life and she wants to have children and I have a vasectomy? Okay, so you're going to go ahead and, you know, he lives in the hood in a fucking studio apartment as a 40-something-year-old.
Man.
And he's trying to convince me that a woman is gonna change his life and he might fuck it up by not having a vasectomy. That's more, he's trying to convince me that the odds of that is better than him fucking up and getting some other random girl pregnant.
I think that once you have 2 children, you should be done for the rest of your life. You shouldn't have babies here and there. It's one of the worst things a man can put himself in. Even women who have children from 5 different dads, 5 different baby daddies, and they all 2 years apart, and they're good dads, and they all wind up at the house at the same time, or they celebrating the other child's birthday. Even if it's good morally, morally, which people don't have that no more. Morally is a fucked up feeling.
Yeah, I mean, Boosie, and I saw him do some red carpet interview, and they said, do you have any regrets about having so many children? Because he has, like, I think 9 or 10 children.
Right.
Like 7 different baby mothers. He goes, I wish I didn't skeet in so many different women. I wish I
Yep.
would just had them all with one woman.
So true.
Because, because he always goes through some sort of nonsense with one of his baby mothers. Like most
Right.
recently, I think he's being sued by the state for past child support or whatever, and then one of his baby mothers ended up testifying against him in his murder trial, and
Wow.
it's fucked up. You know, some of his baby mothers, like, you know, they're on drugs, and you know, it's never the ideal situation.
Never. And what I always say, know who you're fucking.
Well, I interview a lot of comedians on the show, and the one thing that's always impressive about some of the comedians I interview, like for example, the Godfreys.
Mm-hmm.
I want that motherfucker dead, goddamn it, shit. He fucked my son in the ass. Oh, shit, goddamn. Get that motherfucker now, Jack. He fucked my son, man. Shit, goddamn. Why in the fuck, you ever see a motherfucker fuck your son in the ass and don't say shit? Because my son's ass was leaking. I said, nigga, what's wrong with your ass? He said, Daddy, nothing wrong, man. Someone fucking my son in the ass, man. Goddamn. I want that nigga dead. Shit.
And the Ari Spears.
You know the thing I tell Rudy? I talked to the Theo and I talked to Claire and to Rudy. And the thing is, you've got to concentrate on what's important. Because people, if they don't know what is important, then all kinds of rumors and things and speculation.
Is their impressions.
Yes.
You yourself don't do impressions, do you?
No, you know, I consider myself a street dude. I'm gonna tell you a story I used to always do, because I can't do impressions. But I used to always say, I'm so fly, why would I always try to be another motherfucker? I always said that. I'm not gonna try to be nobody else. But besides that, to see someone do it, it's fucking fascinating. To see Godfrey do a Steve Harvey, to see Ari Spears do what he does, to see Eddie Murphy impersonate the people that he can impersonate. Jamie Foxx. It's fascinating. And if you ever get Jamie Foxx on the show, ask Jamie Foxx to do an impression of T.K. Kirkland. He has it down to a T. Very gifted. To do it, very gifted. I'm just not a guy who does that. I just talk a lot of shit and hurt your feelings. But I teach you something along the way. I hurt your feelings because either I'm going to inspire you or intimidate you. And I'm like, which one will you choose? And that's it. I did my job. Street ministry, in a sense.
Well, you mentioned that you know Tyson.
Yeah, me and Mike Tyson are very good friends.
Do you know Holyfield?
I don't know Holyfield, no.
What do you think about Holyfield coming out of retirement at 57 and potentially fighting Tyson, who I believe is 53 right now?
Well, I saw Mike hitting the bag, and he looks excellent. But what I said to him was, bags don't hit back. See, everybody look good hitting the bag until somebody hits you. Holyfield really looks old. Mike Tyson looks like he's around his 30s. Holyfield really looks old. If they fought, I don't know. I just know age can catch up to you. Like right now, I jog, and I used to be a runner. And my mind, before I get out there, I'm thinking I could just take off and float. My mind thinks that. My body every day say, what the fuck you doing? I got to really take these, but I'm 250 pounds in shape. So to run a mile, 3 miles with that kind of weight is difficult. You really have to be about 225, 230 to really run. So I just do it now just to keep my heart rate up, to say some type of condition, because no matter how big you look, every person should be able to run a mile.
What's your greatest Mike Tyson story?
My greatest Mike Tyson story, if I had one. My greatest Mike Tyson story is that when we used to hang out in Cleveland, and he bought this young lady this big ass diamond ring. And he got busted with another girl somewhere out. We was going somewhere. He got busted with this other girl. And he wound up telling the girl, don't worry about it, you can keep the ring. And that shocked her because they had the potential to get engaged. But he just said, fuck it, and went on about his business. And I'm quite sure it's probably more in that story, but that off the top of my head, that would be a story that a lot of people don't know about that I would say.
Yeah, Mike Tyson's an interesting one. I've briefly met him once in LA, and he just doesn't seem like a regular guy. He seems like he's just wired different.
He's wired different, but another person that I love, like I said, when we was young, he used to give me tickets to the fight. He used to come pick me up in his Lamborghini. I remember being in Miami, and we all went to Versace's party down there down on the beach. Just a great guy. Mike, if you got to know Mike back when our days, when we was all coming up, and me and him and a few people, I forgot this guy's name. We used to all hang out at this club called Paradise 24 back in the day. Awesome. And to speak about how awesome he was, Dennis Rodman. Me and Dennis Rodman used to hang out together. And the last time we hung out, me and him went to the Super Bowl at the Rose Bowl in Los Angeles, California, when Michael Jackson was performing. And that was the last time I saw Dennis. And a week later, he almost had a situation where he was going to shoot himself in the parking lot because his baby mama wouldn't let him see his kid. And all these years, when he changed his hair with the earrings, I never got to know that Dennis Rodman. I knew him back in the day when I used to hang out in Detroit, and me and John Sally, I used to stay at John Sally's mansion back in the day. And me and Dennis Rodman just hooked up. But another awesome guy, Dennis Rodman. Shout out to Dennis. Shout out to John Sally too.
Yeah, I mean, John Sally's a regular on my show.
Yeah, I see him on here all the time. You know, like me, him, his brother, his cousin, his sister, all of them know me very well. I'll be over their house all the time.
Yeah, no, I love John Sally.
Yeah, John Sally's a good guy.
For real. But he actually told me, and this was probably after you knew Dennis Rodman.
Yes.
But he told me the story on camera.
Yes.
That Dennis Rodman used to have this bad blonde chick that he used to just roll around with.
Right.
You know, big titties, ass, makeup, whatever. And dudes would try to like holler at her, and he'd be like, yeah, go ahead. And the girl was a transgender.
Wow.
We're at Morton's, and I get there, Jerry Springer's there. So I'm geeked. I want to sit next to Jerry and talk to Jerry at this dinner Dennis having. And there's this blonde at the table. And I look down, and a blonde. The boobs, the look, the Marilyn Monroe is at our table.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and I look again, and I look at Dennis, and I smile, and I look at Dennis, and Dennis is like this. He looks at me, nods, and goes, and I go, nah, not my style. That's all I say. And Jerry Springer said, this is pretty crazy dinner. People, you know, he's talking, and I'm getting to know Jerry because I want to hang with Jerry Springer. And to this day, I'm cool with Jerry Springer. And I see that, and everyone goes, wow. And Dennis says, you're the only person that has not tried to holler at her. And I go, yeah, not my style, not my speed. He goes, still same old style. I said, yeah, I have a radar. It was a dude.
It was a guy.
And then when he has his party at a gay club called, I think it was called Tracks, downtown, and something breaker, jawbreaker or something like that. He has his party there. The media shows up because they have to be where Dennis is going to be up and wild. other dudes show up. They see the blonde who's always with him, that all these people like, oh my God, you can't.
It was a man.
It's a man. So he's,
Wow.
And I'm like this. And Dennis was just friends with him, but he loved the fact that everybody tried to kick it to him. Like Dennis's favorite thing was, yeah, everybody is thinking they're gonna go around me. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get Dennis's girl. Go ahead.
And he used to get a kick out of dudes, I guess, finding out too late or something.
Did they actually sleep with the girl?
I think some did, yeah.
Wow. Well, the craziest story I ever heard about a man being with a transgender and found out about it and didn't mind was Richard Pryor. You ever read his book?
I did not read his book, but
in his
I'd
book,
heard stories.
he talks about a transgender. He falls in love. He finds out that this person's a transgender, right? But he's so fucked up on drugs, he didn't care. He stayed with the bitch a whole nother couple days. Read it, it's in his book. It's a true story. Now, me personally, let me tell you, if I have any suspicion of a woman being something else, this all men got to do is say, "Can I see your baby pictures?" Can I say? Yeah, you know, you got to be smooth about it. You know, you on your phone, you strolling through your pictures. You know, it's like, hey, by the way, you have any baby pictures? And right there, you'll be able to know.
Yeah, I mean, if I have any sort of doubt in my mind, I'm just good. Like,
it ain't even worth. It ain't even worth going through all that.
It ain't even worth going.
It's not even worth it.
I remember this. I remember we were at this one club in San Francisco years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a big group of us went, and it was a club with a bunch of transgenders in the club.
Right.
And I saw dudes hooking up with them. Who just didn't know. And me and my friends are in the corner going like, "Oh shit, does this guy know?" Because they're making out right now.
Yeah,
like,
let me tell you, that's scary to me. That's scary to me. But I'm glad I was a hoe in my younger days. You know, right now, I'm really living like an OG. You know, I peek at women. I don't want to know you. I don't want to help you out with no bills. I don't want to help you take care of your children. You know, all I want to do is say hi. You know, I meet you, all I want to do is say hi. Like, you say hi back to me, I'm fucking fan. I'm good. I don't want to call you. I don't want to take your ass out to eat. I don't want to come to your house because I'm one of those guys. If I come to your house and you got a fucked up living room, I'm the kind of guy I buy a living room, right? Because when I come there, I want to be comfortable. If you ain't got the kind of TV I want, I'll buy you the TV that I need when I come there. And if a bitch ain't got 2,000 cable channels, not that I'm gonna watch anything, I just want to sit there and actually go through every fucking channel and say, ain't shit on TV. I'd rather be by myself.
Well, speaking of basketball, did you watch The Last Dance?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it just finished last night.
Yes.
Very well done.
Very well done.
Very well done. I guess Jordan was worried that he was going to be seen as a bad guy after some of this personal stuff came out.
Yes.
One of the things that I loved, I think a lot of people missed or just glossed over, was he hung out with a couple of older guys.
Yes, he did.
Remember that? Like his security guys were older.
Yeah,
he looked at them as father figures.
Yes.
And these guys weren't successful like him at all.
Right.
But they had age and wisdom.
Yep.
And he appreciated that.
Yes, he did.
And that just goes to show that here is one of the most popular men in the world at that time. His entourage could be anybody.
Yes.
Who doesn't want to hang out with Michael Jordan while he's getting 6 rings?
Right.
But he's sitting there hanging out with a bunch of guys who no one's ever heard of.
Mm-hmm.
They're middle class
Yes.
security guards, and he cares what they have to think.
Right.
And that just goes to show how important age and wisdom is, and surrounding yourself with the type of people. Because most of these rapper kids have a bunch of guys that are like their age or younger.
Yes.
You know, oh, my little homie's gonna do this for me. Blah
Right.
blah. Like,
Right.
you
Yeah, well,
didn't
and that's what I
see-
was saying earlier. These young men, this is why we shows like this, because they watch your show.
Mhm.
Millions of people watch your show. So we use this platform to share with them in their communities. Hook up with someone that you respect and that's older that can prevent you from going to prison, from prevent you from sleeping with the wrong woman, having more than one baby mama, by hanging with a guy that really doesn't have your best interest, and believe in something so that you don't end up dead or in prison or with the wrong woman. I just think those things are important.
Well, and here's something that most people don't want to accept either, because I remember when I posted it, a lot of people were angry at me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the average age of a millionaire in the United States is?
No, I don't.
Take a guess.
25?
The average age of a millionaire in the United States.
Oh, it got to be in their 50s.
62.
Yep. Now, let me explain to you what that is. That's how it was back in the day when I was growing up. You understand? See, everything became turbo with the lottery, right? Everything became turbo when the rap game came out. So you take the lottery away, you take rap away, you really have to work hard and earn your living and stay like our grandparents did. That you worked hard and you saved and saved and saved. And then in your 50s and 60s, you see how people really appreciate money, really appreciate the things around their house, their cars. Now, young people think it's, oh, if you cleaning your house too much, or you wash your car too much, or be careful with this type, they think it's, you're tripping. No, you've learned to appreciate how hard you worked for what you have. Like when I look at these young rappers today and see how they got 2-3 million around their neck, I pray to God that when they're 50-something years old, that they're not broke.
Well, think about everyone right now who was making most of their money off their touring.
Yes.
That has grinded to a halt.
To a halt.
And not only is the average age of a millionaire in the US 62, only 1% of millionaires are under the age of 35.
Wow.
1%.
Yes.
38% of millionaires are 65 and older.
Man.
So what that means is for you to think you're going to be a millionaire in your 20s or 30s,
Yes.
that is probably only going to happen if you're born with some level of freakish ability.
Yes.
Like an N.B.A. player that's born 7 feet tall.
Yes.
Like someone with a singing voice like a Chris Brown.
Yes.
You can't develop a Chris Brown voice. He was born with it.
Right.
Like someone like a Bill Gates who has a mind
Right.
that's analytically just better than everyone else's.
Yes.
Like he's just smarter
Yes.
and has a better memory than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You're counting on something that's so infinitesimally small to get. And that's what you're aspiring to, being a millionaire at 20 or 30? Man, look at the 50 and 60-year-olds. Those are the guys that have figured it out.
Right. And that's why, again, your show, people like me, you, who talk about these topics for people to understand, they can see our job is to give the people the information. It's up to you how you process it, right? So it's good now that they hear and understand it, because on my show, in my Instagram, people want to be on my show, they say, TK, I want to be successful as you. How'd you do it? I'm like, well, put 35 years in. Hey, this shit don't come overnight. It's about consistency. You know, like as like they used to say back in the day, it's not checkers, it's chess. It's so many things, so many moves you have to make and decisions you have to make to get to this point.
Oh, yeah. And when I posted these stats of the average millionaire being that age, the comments were great. Oh, man, lots of young people, you know, are millionaires. You know, all the old dudes just hating. Old dudes is hating to see younger people do better than them.
Wow.
And I'm like, really? You think that I'm hating? I'm mad that this unknown person I'll never meet in my life is doing better than me. You really think so?
Common sense is no common sense. And that's like sometimes you got to ignore certain things. Like to hear the way people think sometimes, it's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
It really is. To hear some of the things that people say or what they write, he's like, I'm not even gonna respond to that because this is some of the most ignorant shit I've ever fucking read in my life. Blah, blah, blah.
Yep. Well, TK Kirkland, always a pleasure and an honor.
Listen to me. Thank you so much for everything. I wish you the best, and hopefully we'll be on the other side of this crisis and continue to do more shows. And I'm looking forward to seeing how your new haircut gonna look.
That's what it is. Until
God bless
next
you,
time.
my man. Next time.
Peace.
May your pain be champagne.